It's crazy to be up here doing something that I've wanted to do for so long but never actually had the opportunity or the courage to do so until today. You see, Irvine Talks was a dream of mine long before I knew it even existed. So in the moment that I heard about this event, I instantly knew that I had to try it out. Let me be honest. I'm a bit nervous to be up here on stage. I used to be frightened to speak in public. But as a dear friend of mine once told me, why not? You see, that's a question that I often ask myself living here. It makes me think about all the crazy things that I've gone through in order to get where I am today. And it all starts with my family. Throughout my entire life, I have always been inspired by the women in my family and how they started with almost nothing, yet still made it in the USA. And this is where my story begins, with my roots. Ever since I was a little boy, my mother always told me the story of my grandmother Maria, a young Mexican mother that had to leave her 7 children back in Mexico in order to come to the United States and work from sunrise to sunset so she could provide for all her family back home. When she first arrived here, she had nothing. It was basically a fresh start for her. She didn't know a single word of English. She had no source of income or even a place to sleep. Talk about living the American dream, am I right? Despite all the struggle, giving up and going back was not an option for her. She came here to work so her children could live the life that they wanted. And let me tell you, she made it. My grandma became the manager of an entire factory in Los Angeles. And look, I know that might not sound like a dream for most of you, but for her, she accomplished the unimaginable. Around this time, in the beautiful city of Guadalajara, Jalisco, lived a young aspiring dentist by the name of Veronica. This woman, who is somewhere out there in the audience, is who I'm proud to call my very own mother. Back then, life in Mexico was very complicated. There were a lot of limitations. So, in the midst of uncertainty, she took the leap of following my grandma's footsteps to the USA in search of a better career and a better life. The odds were completely against her upon arriving. No one would give her a chance to work. But still, my mother held on to her faith. And after constant struggle, she became an assistant at the dental clinic, which would soon become her very own Dr. Rios Dental. Was it easy for her to accomplish this? Definitely not. She worked very long hours while being pregnant with my older sister at the time. But all the effort was worth it because it gave her the tools that she needed to thrive as a dentist in California. But it wasn't about the success or the money or the title of Dr. Rios. It was about discovering her potential, using it, and proving to herself that a young immigrant from Mexico who never gave up could accomplish her dreams. A few years later, I was born. My parents decided to move back to Mexico in order to raise me because all my family, including my grandmother, was now living there. I'm very fortunate to have grown up in a very driven environment, primarily encouraged by my mother. I mean, she supported me through difficult times, showed me the true value of hard work, and always taught me to keep my head up and find a way. Now, she might have never noticed this, but she's always been my role model in life. And to this day, she's been the best mother that I could have ever asked for. As I grew older, time passed by very quickly, and before I knew it, I was only 1 year away from graduating high school. 1 year. How did this all happen so fast? All those memories that I made with my friends, all the experiences as a child, I don't know, it made me feel like I had to write my story, to get outside my comfort zone, look for opportunities, and fight for them just like the woman in my family. There was just one tiny problem. How was I supposed to do this? You see, when COVID hit, I had no sense of direction in life whatsoever, and I didn't know what my next move would be. Anxiety and self-doubt was taking over my head with questions like, what am I going to be? What am I going to major in? Wait, do I even have a chance at going to college? And the one that frightened me the most, what will my parents think of me? Honestly, I was lost. Then one day, I went up to my mother for a piece of advice, and what she told me has always stuck with me since then. She said, in this life, Diego, you are the one who has to be willing to do the things that others aren't willing to do. And let me tell you, I took my mother's words straight to the heart. And that same month, along with my family, we decided it was time for us to move to the United States. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was very excited. I mean, I wanted to meet people from all around the world, try the food, well, mainly In-N-Out, visit Disney, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, enjoy the beautiful sunny weather at the beach, and fulfill my dream of studying at an all-American high school. So, during the next few months, it was time to plan. First, I researched the best schools in the area. Then I took care of arranging the housing for our family, which was very difficult and confusing, by the way. I wouldn't recommend at all. Now, all that was left to do was saying goodbye. Saying goodbye to my friends, saying goodbye to my family, and saying goodbye to my country. The last day that I saw all of them was heartbreaking. I remember that I wanted to cry so bad, but for some reason, I held it all in. All those years that I lived in my city of Guadalajara, all those memories that I made with my friends and family, and my heartwarming culture was now coming to an end. Just like that. One of the last people that I saw just before departing was my grandmother. I remember saying goodbye to her, the kiss on the forehead, after she gave me her blessing. As I was getting in the car to drive to the airport, I looked back at her one last time. With tears running down her face, she smiled at me with pure, pure faith. She didn't have to say anything. I knew what she meant. In August of 2021, my family and I left Mexico, got on a flight, and landed in the lovely city of Irvine. Now, when I first arrived here, I felt really out of place and like I didn't belong here. I made it seem like everything was fine, when deep down, it really wasn't. My first day of school here is one I will never ever forget. I remember that I felt super overwhelmed when I saw all the students rushing around campus. I even remember that I could not believe my eyes when I saw how long the lunch line was. Now that was terrifying. Everyone seemed to have friends but me. How was I supposed to fit in? And most importantly, there was this insecurity creeping up behind me, telling me that I just wasn't going to keep up with the rest of the students here. So when I felt like there was no way back, I decided to take a look at the history of the woman in my family. And I thought to myself, hey, if they could do it, why can't I? And after realizing this, ever since, I've felt this rush of motivation, fueled by the example set by the woman in my family. That's when things actually began to pick up. In such a short amount of time, I have lived so many unique experiences, developed meaningful connections that encourage me to do better every single day. met other inspiring students with similar immigration stories, and broke through many fears that I've had in my life, including this one. Finally, I felt like I was in the right school, in the right city, and in the right country. Finally, I felt home. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely times where I don't feel my best. It gets really lonely living away from the rest of my family in Mexico, especially because my culture puts family as the highest priority in life. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed by everything other people my age are doing. And even so, no matter how many things I do, I still feel behind. But then, I look at how far I've come and realize how every single positive or negative experience has been worth it. Because ultimately, as my abuelita once told me, uno tiene que disfrutar el camino, no el destino. It is not the destination, but the journey itself that one must truly enjoy. The chapter in my life that I am currently writing goes out to them. To the women who have inspired me since little to be the man that I am today. They are the piece of me that reminds me every single day to keep on going no matter what it takes. It is because of them that I am on this stage making this dream come true. It is because of them that no matter how scared or lost I feel, I am still eager to take the endless opportunities that this country has to offer. Now, bear in mind, I still have a long, long way to go. I am only 18 after all. Take a look at everyone in this audience. We all have a whole journey ahead of us. And so, this talk is also dedicated to all of you, past, present, or future you. No matter who you are and how lost, insecure, confused, or scared you feel in this life, you have to realize that you're not alone. Most of us are barely learning who we are and what we want out of our lives. Like my mother and grandmother, we're gonna find ourselves stranded sometimes. When you do, relax. Take a step back and look around. We live in a country where there's a world of opportunity right before our eyes. It's simply up to you to go for them, no matter what it takes. Because in the end, that's all it is. A leap of faith.